Welcome, fellow teachers. I am having this presentation to give you guys some ideas and some tips and some pointers to help foster healthy concept development and to create strategic learners within your kindergarten through second grade classroom. So let's get started. All right, first off, classroom arrangement is crucial for your classroom, obviously. A very important thing for kindergarten through second grade classrooms is to make sure you have room for a class circle. Now, this is something that you could get your students together for at the beginning of each school day. Make sure that they are all ready and excited for the school day ahead. It's also something that students will look forward to throughout the year because they get to sit by their friend in the circle, or they get to do their favorite activity in the circle, or they know that on Wednesdays you let them pick a book and it's going to be that child's turn this time. It's just, class circle is wonderful to get the students excited for school. Next, seating arrangements. Now, seating arrangements are important because the first couple weeks of school, you'll see what kids should be closer to the board, what kids should be closer to your teacher's desk, what students should not be next to other students because they have a hard time focusing or concentrating when they're next to their best friend. And you'll just learn that throughout as the school year starts. But as far as seating arrangements, you start out certain seating arrangement that you think will work best for the class. You just have little name tags. There's an example in that bottom corner. And make sure that you change those seating arrangements throughout the year so that the person is not sitting to the same student all throughout the year. Make sure that they get to know all the students in their class and they're getting to sit by their friends or sit by somebody maybe that they wouldn't normally talk to. Make sure that you keep switching up that seating arrangement. All right, supplies. So obviously there is the common necessities that every student will need to bring when they come to school. That's going to be your pencils, your crayons, your markers, your colored pencils, the glue sticks, scissors, dry erase markers, stuff like that. Tissues, paper towels. Now, when I went to school, and how I think is the best idea is to just itemize a list of what the student needs to bring on the first day of school and what they will need throughout the whole entire school year. Now, it'll say you need 2 packs of number 2 pencils, you need 1 package of 12 count colored pencils, of crayons, 2 glue sticks, just like that. When I was actually researching what you should have supply wise for the kindergarten through second grade classrooms, I actually learned about a community supply approach. I thought I would share with you guys in case you actually might think that'll work in your classroom. This is when one family will buy all the pencils or all the glue sticks or all the markers for the whole entire class. Now, they're not going to buy that whole itemized list for their child. Instead, they're going to buy the whole colored pencils or markers for the whole entire classroom. I see an upside to that, but also at the same time, I think that how would you decide who buys all the pencils or who buys all the markers? Because some parents might end up spending $20 for the whole classroom, and others might spend to more of the upside of $50 or even more. So I think I still like the itemized approach, but if that's something that you think would work in your classroom, go right ahead. Next, teacher organization. Now, this is vital for your classroom. Something obvious that works well for teacher organization would be cubby holes. This gets everybody's backpacks and coats into a certain place for each child that is labeled, and it is their own space for them. It is the only place in the room that is only for that student, and you can put your backpack, they can put their coat, you can keep a homework binder or homework folder in there for them for homework that they have to take home that day, or for papers or handouts or announcements that you want to make sure get to their parents. You put it in that folder and they have to take that folder home every day and then bring it back and keep it in their cubby hole for all the important papers that they might need to take home. Another thing for supplies for your teacher organization would be a classroom library. This would be really crucial for kindergarten through second grade classrooms because it offers the books that the teacher's already approved. It's books that you've already selected thinking that they'll like or that will challenge them or will be something that you're already talking about. And it also keeps them within your classroom. They're not going to the library within the whole main school and getting lost trying to find a book that they think they might like or that might be their grade level. It's books already in your room that they can read and that they know you approve of and they know that you wouldn't put in there unless it was the right grade level for them. All right, now techniques. A positive environment is always important. And as we talked about earlier, having the right supplies helps foster that positive environment, and just making sure that you praise them when they do well, and you line out the instructions of what happens if they don't do well, or if they don't behave like they should, or they don't follow your rules. Line that out, what will be their consequences, so they always know what will happen if they choose to go against the rules. Have clear instructions, obviously. Make sure that no matter what, they know what is expected of you. It's never, oh, I think she wants us to do this, or I think he or she wants us to do this. No, you have to make sure that they know what is expected of them and no right or wrong in your classroom. They know what they should be doing and whether or not they should be doing this or that. Make sure you have the appropriate pacing. When you're teaching and you think that the students are being bored or if they look really confused with what you're saying, slow down and reinforce what you're saying or ask questions to help the students better understand that material. Because if you start giving them the homework or handout sheets and they're turning them back in and they have no idea what you're talking about, it's because you were going too fast when you were telling them about the assignment and you didn't slow down to answer questions or to ask if they needed help with something. Positive student-teacher relationship is obviously a huge deal for all teachers. You want to always have that positive relationship with your student. You don't want to be, oh, that student may be a problem and they may be a disruption in your class, but you always want to have that positive relationship with them because you are the one who molds them into the person they are. You're a big part of their day because they spend 7 to 8 hours with you that day. Their parents are also a huge part, obviously, do not get me wrong. But you as a teacher have a huge role within their lives. All right, some strategies in the classroom. Now, I'm going to do this with reading. Before reading the text, you can you can start with questions that might be answered throughout the text or that you think will be answered or that maybe you want to be answered throughout the story. And then when the book is finished, try to keep in mind what those questions were and try to answer those. And also talk about previous knowledge about the book. Like you see the cover of the book, you kind of read the synopsis or the summary of the book, and you ask what they may know or what they already know about what the book says in the summary. So that way you have the previous knowledge of that. During reading the book, make sure you ask questions. If they kind of like have a confused look on their face, ask them if they do not know about that word or if they'd like to talk about that word. Make sure you're highlighting the important parts of the story and discussing new words that they may not have encountered before. After reading, you're summarizing all of what you've just read. You're getting their reaction to the story and how they felt about the story the whole time. And then you were answering the questions that you may have asked before you read the story and questions that may have come up for the students while reading the story. All right, now on to the activities. The first activity is alphabet hunt. So children, when they first learn the alphabet, they are super excited about the alphabet and they want to recite it all the time to you and to their parents and to anybody who will listen to them. But eventually students, they start to think that the alphabet's not that important and they kind of get over it. They kind of bored with it. So this game is to help them keep interacting with the alphabet and the importance of it. So you have your students be a detective and you give them a stack of magazines, and you say, write out each letter on a piece of paper, give it its own line, and go throughout the magazine and find a suspect that starts with that letter. So it could be a baseball player in the magazine or something like that, and you have them cut out that baseball player and glue it next to the letter that they have on the paper. And once they have found one for each letter, if there's kids that are still working, have them find some more. Like, find as many as you can for each letter, so it just keeps them excited about the alphabet still. All right, next is red light, green light, but this is actually going to be with punctuation marks. So most kids are already introduced to red light, green light in PE or in recess or just at home, maybe by their older siblings. They probably already know how to play red light, green light. So since they already know all this, you just kind of review the key writing skills in punctuation, because we are going to play it using periods, commas, question marks, and exclamation points. So you line the children up on one side. It could be in the gym. You could do it in your classroom if you have enough space, preferably in the gym or outside. And you have them all line up against the wall or in a line outside, and you stand 20, 30 feet away from them, standing in front of them. And then you shout, green light, readers, and they start running forward. But when you shout, yellow light, readers, they need to look at you right away and see what sign you hold up. Hold up a sign, and they must immediately obey it or go back to the beginning. And the winner is the first one that gets past you, either to the other side of the gym or to the line you have marked outside. And how each poster that you will hold up reads is: the comma means slow down and walk. The exclamation point means hop and wave your hands. The question mark means stop, tilt your head, and put your hands on your hips. And the period means stop right now. Like, do not go any farther, stop. So once you shout yellow light, readers, you'll hold up one of those cards, the comma, question mark, exclamation point, whatever. You'll hold up one of those cards, and they have to follow what that rule is, or else they go back and they have to start all over. So that is red light, green light using your punctuation. And then another activity Simon Says. Now this is a classic activity. It was something I did in elementary school. It's something my brother did. Everybody did this. Simon Says is when you have somebody, your Simon, will stand in front of the classroom or in the middle of the classroom in a circle or whatever, and they will shout commands, I guess, for the students to do. And if you say it before, you say Simon says, put up your left arm, and they put up their left arm, they're fine. But if you just say, put up your left arm, and the students put up their left arm, they are out because you did not say Simon Says. Now this teaches children to listen critically to what you're having to say and to pay attention and to focus. It also is a fun way for them to kind of like laugh at themselves if the person, like, they're anxious the whole time waiting for what the person's gonna say. So it's just a fun game for kids. And then finally, the last activity is money exchange. This is when you'll have like little toys or tokens or trucks or a book or something set throughout the room, pencils, markers, and you put price tags on it. You'll put 25 cents, $1, 50 cents, a penny, whatever. You put the price tag on it, and then you give each student an amount of fake dollar bills and fake coins and different amounts throughout each student, and then you have them go and see what they can buy and what they cannot afford, and a combination of how many things they could buy with the money they have. This teaches them, like, not even just the obvious adding and subtracting of the coin values that you have, and if you greater or less than values, but the value of money. It's no longer just numbers. It's, hey, since I have this, I am able to purchase this. And this is just a list of 3 websites that you guys may find helpful or useful for you in your classroom. It has really fun games for kids to play. Your grades kindergarten through 2nd. Remember that. And it's just really fun games that I think the kids would love. All right, and that is it. Thank you guys.